Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
Hey, yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, we're diving deep and keeping it real, so please do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. On today's conversation, my friends, we gonna talk about the comeback season for the very short-lived popular platform Vine is potentially making a comeback with some new owners. We'll talk a little bit about that later on the show. Also, Nicki Minaj is stepping in the world of politics. She is teaming up with the Trump administration to discuss the threats happening in Nigeria for Christians out in Nigeria. We'll talk a little bit about that. As well as former VP Kamala Harris has called out her own party of what she says taking black women for granted. Yes. And then also I want to talk about this discrimination case happening in my hometown of Chesapeake, Virginia, at a very popular restaurant, walking distance from where I live. And so we're going to talk about that and more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. As always, my friends, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule, taking 1 hour of your time to tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. I truly appreciate it. You could be doing so many other stuff with your precious time, but the fact that you said, hey, look, let me listen in and see what Arrington's talking about today, I truly just want to say thank you, because look, there's tons of shows out there that y'all could be tuning into. The fact that y'all are listening here means a lot. And if you can, for those who support the show, let's keep that momentum going, right? For those who are watching us right now on YouTube, do me a favor, like, subscribe, share with a friend, share with family. We want to continue that momentum, build our exposure, build our viewerships as well as the subscribers. So again, I just want to thank you. And ways you can support is, again, by subscribing to our channel, subscribing to our YouTube channel. You can also watch past episodes of the Arrington Gavin Show on Goatverse TV. That's right, Goatverse TV. You see the logo right there for those who are watching us currently. You can check us out on Goatverse TV. We are ways you can watch us on there is simply by downloading the app, the Goatverse TV app. It's available on the App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, as well as Amazon Fire TV. Excuse me. And so yeah, you can watch us from those platforms. You can also listen to us on the go. We're available on all major podcast platforms. So wherever you get your podcasts, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. In addition to that, you can also listen to us on the radio airwaves. Shout out to our friends and our well, I consider them family, right? We're always honored to be a part of extended platforms where we can spread the narrative and just, again, broaden our audience. So shout out to our friends over in the Houston, Texas area, Afro Vibes Radio. You can tune to the Arrington Gavin shows Mondays at noon, 12 p.m. Central Time. And again, that's only on Afro Vibes Radio. Then we're going to head over to the New Orleans area to WBOK. My apologies. WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights at 7 p.m. Central Time. Again, that's only on WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about. And then finally, we're going to head over to the Metro Atlanta area to WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, that's only on WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk. All right, my friends, look, let me catch y'all up to speed with stuff. So great stuff happening on our side of town here. Well, at least in our village. Uh, as you all know, I'm in the process of opening up a new business. I'm an entrepreneur, you could say. I own a few businesses, and n- enough is never enough for me. Stuff is never enough, and I'm always wanting to venture out and start something new, X, Y, and Z. So, I had just opened up a videography and photography workspace, and um it is something where that I've been so thrilled to open up, but I'm gonna be honest, it has been one stressful period because it's just you're learning as well as opening up at the same time. And I'm not completely clueless, but it's so many details, right? It's so many details. We gutted out a close to 900 square foot of space, gutted it out, renovated it, making sure everything is great, making sure stuff is meets the standards, making sure we pass inspection, things in that nature. And it's just like it's so much and it's so stressful. And it was one. Let me tell you a funny story. So we had initially we had multiple contracts. We had one guy mainly in charge of the renovation, handiwork, all that good stuff. Then we had a group of painters to paint the whole entire place. So uh we had, say, the main areas was mainly like a off white, like just a white. Then we had a spot that was accent wall. Then we had a podcast room that was painted obviously a darker color. And so we got that taken care of. Place looked beautiful. Then it was time to add some furniture to the wall, right? Some pictures, all that good stuff. And my wife and I, we went shopping, got some artwork, put it up there, and you learn how, even though it was a light picture, adhesive strips don't always work. Okay, so learn that the hard way. A picture had fallen from the podcast room, paint was chipped, and I'm like, damn, we got to make sure we take, we got to touch that up. So I had another gentleman, because the place looks very like industrial looking. So we have this big old garage that was just there. And I'm like, we got to do something with that. That just doesn't look eye catching. Had the gentleman paint that. Now he found a darker color. Um, that well, we had actually found the color, but he painted it, and he did a great job. So he saved the paint, had that in the back, had some white paint that needs some touching up. He saved that too, put that in the back. Now, the previous people that we had painting did not leave any backup paint or or pictures or none of that stuff, right? We didn't leave that for us. So one day, my wife and I, we came, and I was like, "Oh, babe, we need to touch up this stuff." Now, mine days had passed. My mind is on something else, and and we find the paint that's in the back. We found like a darker charcoal color that looked very similar to the previous color that was in the podcast room. And I'm like, "Oh, babe, here, you take this. Just all you gotta do is touch up those dabs." This and that. My wife found a bunch of spots that need to be touched up. So the next day, I think 2 days had passed. I get a call, and they're like, "Hey, did somebody come in this place and paint?" I'm like, "Yeah, my wife and I was here. We were turning." Well, sorry to break it to you, that was the wrong paint. I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me." Now, mind, this is days leading into our grand opening. So I'm like, couldn't get any worse. Couldn't get any worse, right? And I'm just like, great, great. So what else is new? So I just, that's been stressful. That was a quick little funny story from there. And then I'll tell you even funny story. That same night when I heard that we had put we painted with the wrong paint, I'm doing a recording, which some most of not I won't say most of the time, a good portion of the time I do record it. I pre-record some of the shows, just for the sake of for the sake of schedule. So I did a recording. Matter of fact, yeah, I was doing a recording, and luckily I did not have a guest or anything, or anybody that I was talking to. But I was recording, I was on the roll, I was busy talking, yabba 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 yabba. I look at my clock again, 40 minutes in. 40 minutes in, I'm going ham. Just solid. Because look, I'll be honest, it's not easy talking for damn near an hour straight. I mean, it for folks like myself who I'm long-winded people, I love to talk, I love to have a conversation. It comes easy, but for in the outside, it's like, how do you do it? How do you do it? Especially like if you're just in the room by yourself. Like, how do you do it? It's easy. It's easy. But I'm 40 minutes in, going ham on a discussion topic, and realize my mic isn't on. And I'm like, damn. I was hot about that, boy. And it was late in the evening. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just take this L because I need to get some shut eye because I got an early morning the next morning. And I'm like, can't do it. And so those are my two issues right there. So yeah, you're welcome, friends. You're welcome. Check this out. Before we head to a quick commercial break, I do want to discuss our fun fact of the not fun fact. Haven't done that in a while. Our segment, what is the role and why is it important? As you know, with this segment, I always share with you all political positions, starting from a local level, and we're currently in the federal government level, the national level, under the executive branch. So I started this segment just to continue to educate ourselves of the positions that are held in public office on a local, state, and on a national level, on local, state, and federal level. And so on today's segment of what is the role and why is it important, today's role is the vice presidential role. The role, which is the second highest executive officer, assumes the presidency if the president is unable to serve. President's also is the vice president is also president of the U.S. Senate, can cast tie-breaking votes, similar to the position held by, say, for example, in your state, the lieutenant governor. The lieutenant governor is the president of the state senate. So when I had on the newly elected Virginia lieutenant governor, Gonzala Hashmi, that is a role that she will be receiving after, inauguration, when she takes the realm as the lieutenant governor for the state of Virginia. So that is the position, my friends. You're welcome. Now we are going to take a quick breather, but y'all stay put. Y'all don't go nowhere. All right, y'all stay put. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more here on the Arrington Gavin Show.
And we still in traffic.
Don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
Yeah, this that new Goat Verse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of the app he said?
Introducing GoatVerse TV.
GoatVerse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In Goats, we trust.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
All right, my friends, welcome back to the Arrington Gavin show. Thank you for sticking with us here. Look, I'm gonna start it off first by talking about this viral story that has been going across social media space. Um, an incident happened at a very popular uh restaurant located in my home city of Chesapeake, Virginia. All right. There's a restaurant called Cork and Bull. It's like a raw bar, steakhouse kind of spot, right? You know, the ambiance is beautiful, is really nice, right? You get in there, and I'll be honest, when you get in there, you get the Yellowstone vibes, right? You get in there that this is a white owned establishment. Okay, you got your, I think you got like a bull head on the once you get in there, or a buffalo's head. It's just, it's interesting. It's very like I said, Yellowstone vibes, right? This, Montana, it's interesting. Anyway, um the incident had occurred at this establishment, and let me, while I explain it to you all, let me go ahead and just share the clip for you. Hold tight.
Was supposed to be a night of fellowship for this group of women.
Turned into a night of hurt, embarrassment, and pure humiliation.
The 9 women had chosen to have a Friendsgiving dinner at Cork and Bull.
We only had time to order our drinks, and a fight broke out between 2 African-American women that had nothing to do with us.
Somebody break it up.
This is video of the altercation. The 9 women say it happened between guests at a table that was across the room. The 2 women seen throwing blows ultimately left before authorities arrived. But somehow, restaurant staff thought these 9 women who were still inside were somehow involved and told them to leave too.
So I asked why. And he responded saying, because you all like to fight. And they made us leave and get up in front of all the other patrons in the restaurant.
We were really in like a negative spotlight at that moment, and it was all eyes on us. It was very embarrassing.
The 9 ladies are now pursuing legal action. Their lawyer sat down with us.
Just because you have employees that might have made a bad judgment one night, that could turn into 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights. It has to stop.
The women say the restaurant staff has not reached out to provide an apology or update.
All 9 of these ladies were treated more harshly than the 2 people who were actually engaged in the misdemeanor action.
It was supposed to be a night of fellowship
And
for
so,
this group of women.
so this is when I saw this, and it was interesting because a friend of mine who had posted that, I believe might have been either, I think she reposted the video of the incident, because this case happened really, I believe might have happened last year, possibly. I can't remember, but anyway, no, this didn't happen last year. I'm crazy. This happened on November 6th. Okay, November 6th. It was, the video was shared on social media, and all I see is like 2 ladies brawling, right? As you heard in the soundbite, it was 2 African American females. One lady was, let me tell you something, they were fighting. One dress got rose up, no draws. She was not wearing no draws, so everything was showing in a place of you trying to have a good dinner as family, as children out there, and all her things are thinging out, and that's all out, right? And so, and I've been to this restaurant countless of times. They've gotten a lot of my money. Let me just tell you, they've gotten a lot of my money. And so there was the incident. So the lady said, look, there was 2 ladies that were brawling, fighting, all this stuff, and then they left. Now, my frustration is you had tons of people in this establishment, witnesses as well as workers that saw who were the cause of it. So when a person that worked there turned around and looks at this table of 9 Black women who were there enjoying themselves and says, y'all got to leave, To me, somebody should have said, no, they're innocent. No, they were not affiliated with that party. What that person did was label and said, you know what? I said, even though the other ones that fought wasn't forced out, they just left because they knew they made a scene and they're like, oh guys, I'm embarrassed and we gonna get in trouble. Let's bounce. But the fact that this man says, oh, y'all gotta go out because y'all like to fight. So now he's already saying that all black women love to fight and they gotta leave. So as you saw, for those who are watching, there was a lady there that was tearing up because it was embarrassing. It was and instead of them raising their voices to put more of a discrimination to it, because now they're gonna say, see, they're getting loud and they always want to get violent. See, that's why they say, you know what, I'm out, but I got your number, and that's why they came back with the lawsuit. And I hope they win. I hope they win and run them out of business personally. And it's a shame because I am a lifelong Chesapeake resident. I was thrilled to see these new thriving restaurants, fine dining, to thrive here in the Hampton Roads area. And look, most of the people that come in their establishment are black. So I know it's going to hurt them deep in the pocket. And see, one thing about Hampton Roads area, everybody see everything and shares everything. And best believe there's already people my family already said, I'm not going. I'm not going. Like, I've already had folks that are, saying that's the last time they're going to see my money, because it's sad. It's sad. Let me tell you something. Chesapeake has a history of moments where they have discrimination. It's sad to say because I love the city. I truly love the city. But our city needs to do work and improve when it comes to diversity. And it was interesting when I was reading this article because I was looking at a clip. I was looking at an image of just a friend of mine who works in a law firm, and I look and I'm like, I see in a room of say 28, 30 people, I see 2 black people, all white people. And I'm not the person to always look at race personally, because and that's just me. I was always a minority in my upbringing. I could make friends I could be in a room of, I'm to be the only black, and I could be in a room of white folks, Hispanics, um, um, you know, Asian Americans, Indian Americans. I'm making friends regardless. I'm not going to ever feel out of touch, right? Or that I don't belong. But I do when it comes to certain establishments, I do believe in diversity of voices and really bringing on, again, when people walk outside those doors, what are they going to see? They're not going to just see all white people. And to my knowledge, I don't see a lot of black workers at that establishment, which I think would benefit them, because now you have some diversity so that when incidents like this do occur, well, for one, let's be honest, that person should be fired and let go. I don't look, you labeling boss, you out because you now putting he's putting a message from representing that establishment saying, okay, so y'all don't like black people, and that's the message that they're getting from here. 9 women who are not involved with that, and then they turn around and say you gotta go. Disgusting. So again, I hope they win. I hope they get all the money, but this is why it is so important to have diversity in the workplace. I'm not saying to hire folks just because they're color. Of course, make sure that they're qualified, but it does help to say, okay, look, in my establishment, I have all guys. It's time to bring, I need to bring a female or 2 in, or I have an establishment of all black people. Well, it's good to have somebody from a different, a different race here. I'm sorry. I'm big on diversity. I'm big on diversity and diversity of thought, actions. That's why you need diversity in law enforcement. Come on. And sometimes it's not always about race. It's about, the classism as well. So it's just, it's a shame. I'll keep you guys posted on this case because it has been going viral on social media. I mean, shoot, I'm looking right now at this was on a social media page where I played the soundbite from. They have close to almost 40,000 folks that just liked the post. So listen, and tons of folks have left comments. I mean, this is a viral story here, and it is going to hurt this place. And I'll just be honest, this place has phenomenal happy hours, mediocre entrees. I'm talking, you got these teeny tiny entrees, but cost the size of a cow. And I'm like, no. I took my wife there once. We dined in, and I was not satisfied, man. I was not satisfied. And I was just like, okay, this is the last time. Drinks was I but there's been some restaurants around there that folks that I've spoken with say, I feel a little discrimination, and it's like, all right, they need to wake up and smell the coffee. This ain't no, this ain't Back to the Future over here. This is not no Jim Crow era. They need to wake up and realize something. So yeah, it's unfortunate. It's extremely unfortunate, but again, I hope justice will be served for the nine victims. It's extremely sad that that this occurred. Folks need to do better. Folks need to do better. Let me fast forward y'all to another story here. Let's see. Which one do I want next? Let's go and talk about our former VP, Kamala Harris. So, Kamala Harris recently was at a function promoting her book, her 107 Days, which shares about discusses her the time that she had to run to possibly become the next president. She only had 107 days, which the average campaign might last, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years, maybe longer. She was recently talking with the panelists of successful Black women, and she said to them that the Democratic Party has taken Black women for granted. In a candid moment, she called out her own party for failing to prioritize Black women. Appearing on Storehouse and Friends, a conversation series curated by entrepreneur and publisher Tamara Chapman, featuring the Lip Balm's founder Melissa Butler and communication strategist Kiara Nixon. Harris addressed the tensions many Black women face when working towards a goal in society that tries to trivialize their identities. Now, Butler asked, often I feel like Black women have this tension between, who they are and the mission that they are trying to accomplish. I want to know if you faced any of that tension when you were on your mission, especially considering that your mission was race agnostic and gender agnostic. You were trying to do the work that the country needed. Did you find that you face tension of that sort? Vice President responded by saying, I think the Democratic Party has taken Black women for granted. Now, let me pause right there. The outside looking in, you're like, how would the Democratic Party take Black women for granted? There's a lot of Black women that are elected in office in the Democratic Party, right? Compared to the right, the Democratic Party is doing pretty good when it comes to diversity. Now, if she would have said running for president, okay, makes a fair argument there, because outside of her running for president, the last person to my knowledge was Shirley Chisholm, which I highly recommend to check out that movie on Netflix. It's really, really good. But yeah, all I could think of was the Shirley Chisholm film. And so in that case, yes, the Democratic Party has never really stood behind to try and bring which in general they never really stood behind a solo person. They've always been open to have primaries to see who is the top contenders that can be the next. Now here I think in this current climate they're really desperate at trying to find some folks that can you know be the almighty uplifter who can help rebuild the Democratic Party and so on and so on. But I mean, look, they embrace Jasmine Crockett, Congresswoman out of Texas. Um they've embraced Maxine Waters, who's a longtime congresswoman. They embrace blah, blah, blah. There's a U.S. senator out of Maryland. I mean, I guess I no, yeah, there's a senator out of Maryland. I guess that kind of so those states select those elected officials. But she's talking about the national level, the national Democrat. Look, I still I'm still trying to understand why she would think they take it for granted, and especially when you look at the voting rate of Black women that supports the Democratic Party. It's a very large number. Your former DNC chair was a Black man, so you're telling me that under his watch they took Black women for granted? Like I'm interested in that. But anyway, she says there are very specific issues that impact Black women in America that should be some of the highest priorities. I made them those. I feel like that's a typo because she said I made them priorities when I was vice president, such as black maternal morality. And during her historic 107-day presidential campaign, Harris said she knew one of the many high stakes questions was whether the country would pay attention to the needs surrounding women's health issues like postpartum and maternal health care and more. She knew the high stakes of that. Now I get it. She's passionate about her true calling and what she aims for, but at the end of the day, which those issues were important or is important. Excuse me, I don't want to say were important. They are important, but the majority of folks are going to be interested in knowing or wanting to hear about what's happening in their pockets, what's gonna benefit them financially, right? What should they be alarmed of? It's all about the money. It's all about the money. And so you can continue to speak on that, but don't make that your front and center moment. Now, me personally, I do think that to defend her point, I think society takes Black women for granted. I think society was never or would never be ready for a woman president. I hope I'm wrong, but see, the sad part is in other countries they have female leaders, like elected leaders. Society accepts differently here in the States. I mean, let's be honest. Uh uh could you imagine could you imagine um her and Senator oh man, Raphael Warnock, two Black people on one ticket? A Black president and a Black vice? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine her and Pete Buttigieg, openly gay male? You couldn't. You couldn't. Because society will look at that as uncomfortable. Society is not ready for that. And it's a shame because for me, I look at it as growth. I look at it as this is the direction we need to be pushed in because why? This is America. This is the world we live in. We live in a melting pot. That's why I couldn't, be more happier to see that Virginia, not only elected their first female governor, they elected their they elected a female lieutenant governor, the first Muslim woman elected in statewide office in the United States in American history. Then they also elected the first African American attorney general. That's growth. Even on the opposing ticket, you had a African American, Jamaican born female running for governor, who at the time was, I believe, she was the first woman elected as lieutenant governor. You had an openly gay male running for lieutenant governor, and then you had a Hispanic male running for AG. You had diversity on both sides. That's growth, my friends. That's what I consider growth. Going back to Kamala Harris, she says, and then you look at what's happening now with this guy in office, and they're cutting funding for scientific research if it has the word woman or black in it. So to your point, I am never going to shy away from who I am. I'm never going to feel burdened that because of who I am in terms of my race and my gender, that I should pretend, not to be. The sad thing is, and it's very true. The sad thing is, during her 2024 presidential race, she was subjected to waves of criticism ranging from her political policies to her dating history, which I will say, folks talk about Trump's dating history a lot, of women he's been with, the women he slept with. I mean, that's kind of like back and forth. I already hear folks saying, Arrington, come on now, don't you defend it. I'm not defending. I'm just saying, like, I've seen that on both sides. Now, political policy wise, what she was criticized, I would say, is, certain stances that might be looked upon as a little too progressive, or the fact that when she ran for president in the past, she did not even make it out to Iowa. Now, I don't look at that as a policy issue. I look at that as a funding issue, right? In order to run for any elected position, you got to have funds. Now, I guess, to say, if you want to respond to that, it's like, hold up, Arrington. If she would have had good policies, maybe more major donors would donate to her campaign, so she can continue to put out, she continue to extend and stay out of the stay in the race, not stay out, but stay in the race. So, I think that does speak volumes. To end this story here, she put out, right now, the modeling that we each can do has exponential impact. So let's get out there and be active and continue to inspire the way that only we uniquely can. My question to you all, does the former vice president have a point there? Do you think, and I'm talking to specifically my Democratic listeners here, those that vote Democrat, that were a longtime Democrat, do you feel as though the Democratic Party takes black women for granted? Do you think it takes them for granted? Because look, I look at it like this. The Democratic Party stood behind a black woman for president. They raised record funding. I mean, I'm talking in the billions for our campaign. Was this just spite out of because she lost, or because, like, they did not push for her to try and run early on instead of encouraging Joe Biden to to not seek re-election? I mean, what's your thoughts on this, my friends? we will continue to chime in on that. Let's see. Before we head to a commercial break, I do want to discuss this story about Nicki Minaj. So Nicki Minaj recently was at the UN, United Nations, to discuss the threats happening in Nigeria amongst Christian people who are Christians of Christian faith. Supported by the Griot. Here says Nicki Minaj visits United Nations to thank Trump after president's misleading claims about Nigeria. Nicki Minaj told reporters she wanted to put a spotlight on the deadly threat faced by thousands of Christians in Nigeria. Now, the thing is, because you can read it here in the story, I'm looking at the title right now. She visits the United Nations to thank Trump after Trump misleading claims about Nigeria. So my big question is, why the hell do they want to get in contact with Nicki? What Nicki got to do with Nigeria? There's nothing about Nicki Minaj that says inspiring to me. I'm sorry. And maybe it's because I'm biased because I'm more of a Cardi B fan. That's just me. But let me go ahead and play this soundbite real quick and then we'll talk on the other side.
In Nigeria, Christians are being targeted, driven from their homes, and killed. Churches have been burned. Families have been torn apart, and entire communities live in fear constantly, simply because of how they pray. Sadly, this problem is not only a growing problem in Nigeria, but also in so many other countries across the world, and it demands urgent action. In Nigeria.
So I'll be honest, I will play the 50-50 side in this because I haven't done too much research into this claim. 50% is saying that it's a false claim by the president, hence why Nicki Minaj is getting blasted and criticized. And then there's the 50% that says, well, this could exist, right? This could happen. So maybe she's doing the right thing by speaking out because she has such influence and she's a global superstar, right? Let me share with this. So she recently met with the UN ambassador, Mike Walsh, who called the Queen's rapper arguably the greatest female recording artist, which I would love to see if Mike Walsh's playlist has any of Nicki Minaj's songs. I'm very curious. The meeting came after Nicki Minaj publicly praised Donald Trump's misleading remarks about the persecution of Christians in Nigeria. Delivering brief remarks, as y'all heard just a little bit of that clip here at the UN, Minaj told reporters she wanted to put a spotlight on the deadly threat faced by thousands of Christians in Nigeria. I quote, she says, "I would like to thank President Trump for prioritizing this issue and for his leadership on the global stage in calling for urgent actions to defend Christians in Nigeria, to combat extremism, and to bring a stop to violence against those who simply want to exercise their natural right to freedom of religion or beliefs." End quote. I could imagine when she was speaking, John Trump like saying, "Thank you, Nicki. About time somebody acknowledges the work that I do in Nigeria. All right, Nicki. I appreciate, first of all, greatest rapper of all time. I know a lot of rappers, but they rap about me, right? A lot of them did. Now, a lot of them kind of went to the dark side and went woke. But Nicki Minaj is still by far one of the greatest rappers of all times, and she's from New York. Great state, right? Good state, yeah. Now earlier this month, Trump wrote on Truth Social. I still always get a kick out of the name Truth Social because like everything that comes out of his mouth is the truth. Truth Social, that Christians are facing an existential threat, and that thousands have allegedly been killed based on their religion. He also threatened to send the U.S. military to Nigeria in response. Now, I will say this again. Like I said, I'm playing the 50-50 role. In other countries, religion is not fully accepted, especially, well, I'll say this, the Christianity faith is not fully accepted in other countries. There's countries that they have their primary, like, for example, the Saudi Arabia. So when the story when I share with you all, when the comedians was receiving backlash for performing at a comedy festival in Saudi Arabia, I read you the list of issues that occurs over there, where like women has absolutely pretty much no rights. If you speak on any other religion aside from their primary religion, you're gonna be put to jail or even worse. So there are other countries that have the same sentiment. So that's why I said I'm playing the cordial role here, because I really haven't fully looked at the stats of what's happening in Nigeria to what Nicki Minaj is. But obviously Nicki Minaj knows everything. She got all the stats, right? She's an ambassador. She's getting praise from Donald Trump for speaking out. Again, she has no ties with Nigeria, but I could be wrong. Anyways, Nigeria has rejected the suggestion that Christians are being persecuted and killed by thousands in the African country. In fact, the data disputes those claims. The Associated Press reports that both Christians and Muslims are among those targeted in Nigeria. Where there are violent clashes among various groups, both religious and ethnic, and even between farmers and herders over dwindling resources. In fact, experts say that the majority of victims are Muslims in Nigeria's Muslim majority north, where most attacks occur. Now, during her remarks, Minaj emphasized, I want to be clear, protecting Christians in Nigeria is not about taking sides or dividing. It's about humanity. And then she went on to share more. But yeah, Nicki has been receiving some backlash from a lot of folks, which, I mean, Nicki's always been that, like, I don't care kind of attitude. I don't care. But yeah, she's now, I guess she got a call from Amber Rose and said, hey, look, they need another hip hop star. I don't know. But my friends, look, I don't know about y'all. I'm gonna take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll have a little more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Do not go anywhere and do not change that rate. Do not change that dial. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story, crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit, and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together, we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs. And we're gonna bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore, bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today. Visit www.dapperluke.com.
Hey, what's happening, y'all? Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Welcome back. All right, let's get it going with our next story here. So, Sugar daddy or love is what I call this segment. Sugar daddy or love. And I bring that up because a recent story came across my feed from the dailybeast.com. Keith Olbermann, who is a is a veteran sportscaster, political commentator, is roasting his ex-girlfriend, Olivia Nuzzi. Now, Olivia Nuzzi, who is a journalist, a writer in her own right, she's been kind of in hiding per se. I used to see her quite often on some of the national outlets as either, I wouldn't say as a contributor, but just giving her take on certain stories. She had made headlines by, it was like a sexting scandal with RFK Jr. Interesting. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. So let's talk about it, because this article I'm reading is titled "Sugar Daddy Keith Olbermann Roasts His Ex Over Her Tawdry RFK Fling." All right, so as I mentioned, Keith Olbermann has entered this year's most tangled and sordid drama in spectacular style with a full frontal attack on his ex-girlfriend, Olivia Nuzzi, the woman who's the center of all this. In a series of social media posts, Olbermann, who's 66 years old, by the way, because it's a huge age gap. This girl currently is 32 years old. She's just a couple years older than me. Olbermann is 66 years old, and Olivia Nuzzi's, I want to say either ex-boyfriend or ex-fiance is journalist Ryan Lizzie, who's 51. So she it's a little, she like a mood. She like a little seasoned. Okay. So it says in a series of posts, Olbermann mocked Newsy's bad writing, suggested he dodged a bullet, and defended himself over allegations that he served as her de facto sugar daddy. You think, buddy? You think? Like, I personally don't. I never understand like the. Well, it's not I don't understand, but let's just be honest here, y'all, men. If y'all or women, I don't care. If y'all in a relationship and there is a 20-year age gap or 30-year age gap, and y'all think it's all love in there, come on now. Come on. One of y'all got some better security. One of y'all got better insurance. One of y'all is getting paid back. Like, I'm just come on now. Like, I was reading something not too long ago, in regards to the press secretary. What's her name? Oh Lord, Caroline Levitt. Caroline is 28 years old. Her husband is like 60, maybe a little older. Huge age gap. You think that's all? You think that was all love at first sight? You think it's all love now? She probably deeply cares about him. But come on now. Come on. There's some sugar daddyism in there. Anyway, her other ex, Ryan Lizzie, made many bombshell claims in a Substack post circulated recently. Among them was the allegations that Newsy also engaged in an affair with Republican Congressman in South Carolina Governor Mark Sanford, who's 65. Jeez Louise, this is a lot here. This is a lot. Another subject of her reporting at New York Magazine before she was separated from the company over her relationship with Kennedy. And it's a shame, because I'm just like, she's probably a very accomplished individual. Like, why do you mix the business with pleasure? Like, why? It's just it's weird. When describing the affair with Olbermann, Lizzie wrote that his then fiance felt stalked by Keith after she left him, and we had a strict policy of never engaging with him. Olbermann always get himself in trouble. I remember when Olbermann used to be, I think, on MSNBC, and I think he used to be on did he used to be on ESPN too? I think so. Olbermann was 55 and Newsy was 21. Y'all, What in the world? At the time, they dated. What was her parents? Okay, don't give me that. Well, she's grown. She made her own decision. Now I can't be a hypocrite because while my wife is not listening, she know I got a crush on Jennifer Lopez. Lord have mercy. And Jennifer up there in age, now look, I'm 30. It's a little age gap, but yeah, I'll just leave it at that before I get myself in trouble. And so at the time, in a relationship that Olbermann has described as a wholesome fling. Okay, Olbermann responded to Lizzie's post with several cheeky posts on his own ex roasting Newsy. The Daily Beast reached out to Olbermann, but obviously he declined to say more. Newsy receives lavish gifts from Olbermann. Liza wrote, claiming that Newsy fled her unhappy home in the suburban New Jersey and started living with Keith in Manhattan. He paid for her to attend college. Wow. Outfitted her in Tom Ford and Herve Ledger dresses and some $15,000 worth of Cartier jewelry. So sounds more like a sugar daddy to me. Later, he covered her rent and furnished her apartment in a doorman building in the West Village. Woo! Keith, you got money like that, Keith? Where were you in my life, Keith? Where have you been? Olbermann quipped on X with his own defense, saying Olivia and I lived together for 4+ years, 4 B-days, 4 birthdays, 4 Christmases, 4 anniversaries. Cute. That's like $12.50 of jewelry per celebration. And her apartment was a studio, and I made a F ton then. What was I supposed to do? Get the gift certificates from Kmart? That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. That's all I can say. Oh, and on top of that, he posted a video of him and RFK Jr. Wow, that's interesting. That is interesting. And he posted this clip, wow, on his X page saying, this was in June of 2011. City Fields, NYC. This is 7 years after this psycho Bobby Kennedy called me up for MSNBC and said I was his hero. This might have been the first sign he was losing his mind. That's interesting. I'm looking at my time, y'all, because I would love to chat with you a little more, but I got to go. But until next time, y'all take care. Stay safe out there. Continue to tune into the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights, available on all digital and streaming platforms. Continue to support us by following us on social media, subscribing to our YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show. Shout out to my nonprofit, the Rugged Evolution Foundation.org. You can read up more on it, as I just gave you the website, RuggedEvolutionFoundation.org. We got a lot of great stuff happening in this year before the year's over. So please continue to support and check it out. Peace and blessings, y'all. I will talk to y'all soon.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.